Hey, what's up guys? JB here. So it is that time once again. Guild raids are back for us here in Global. And this time we're going to be taking on Iron Giants, Tetrasylphid, Omega, Kraken, and Merilith. Now, if this is your first guild raid, I'm going to go ahead and put a link to my original guide above. There I'm going to talk about the general approach for kind of maximizing your score in this mode. Now, I do have to admit that I was really scrambling to put this video together for you here today. This guild raid is coming in at least a month early for us. That's okay though. It is always fun when these events come around. I do enjoy the theory crafting aspect and kind of setting up the teams for the optimal chains and damage. Part of that though is definitely going to be that preparation and knowing what are going to be the best tools in your toolbox. So that is what I'm going to have for you here in today's video. And it's going to be that latest update to my guild raid cheat sheets. Now before we get in and take a look at those, I just kind of want to set the table here. There are some unique effects that Gumi is implementing in this latest version of guild raids. And first and foremost, there is going to be a map-wide 100% reaction block, meaning that there's going to be no counters coming from the boss when you hit them. But more importantly though, that means that you're not going to need to fish for any RNG when you're continually trying for that optimal run where the boss maybe hits a couple of your units and you proc off your counter ability and start a chain for more overall damage. Of course, those counter abilities do tend to have a very low chance of proccing off, so it was always very tedious and not a very fun part of top scoring and guild raids. So I do really like that change overall for this mode. Now, of course, as we're accustomed to, all units are going to be starting off with that 60 additional AP in their starting pool. And normally we are accustomed to seeing that additional 10,000 damage cap increase on the field. So that is actually where Gumi is doing something a little bit differently here this go around. For slash, pierce, and missile damage, they're actually going to be staying with that 10,000 damage cap that we've been used to. But this time, strike and magic attacks are getting an increase in their potential damage. So strike attacks can get a potential 20,000 damage cap increase, while magic attacks are going to get a whopping 25,000. So that is definitely very interesting. You know, with some exceptions, magic units, you know, in the past, they really haven't seen a ton of play in this mode, simply because magic attacks only are chaining on that element alone. So this time, getting that potential 25,000 damage cap increase per hit is going to be absolutely massive and does make them among the best units to use, you know, assuming that they do have a chaining capability. In fact, even if they only have a 2-hit chain available to them, that is going to be roughly equivalent to another, maybe a slash damage dealer who is 3-hitting. Of course, there is going to be some trade-offs there, you know, in terms of the chain ramp up, but if that magic unit is bringing in some nice debuffs, you know, it certainly could be a nice team building consideration. But how does that math actually work out? Well, let's go into a little bit of theory crafting here. And this slide here is going to represent the highest per hit damage that you can possibly achieve in this guild raid. Of course, we're going to start with that base cap of the units, you know, the 9,999. At EX, you can add on another 2,000, and that's kind of your starting point for your units. Now, this is the part where we're going to start layering on those damage cap increases, and there's going to be a number of sources to do that. First and foremost, that is going to be your primary damage cap vision card. Now, some elements, they don't actually have access to a UR, you know, mono element version of this, so the math here on this slide is going to be a little bit off for a couple of the elements, notably Earth and Dark. They do have to resort to using an MR card as their secondary, and that is why I have that asterisk there next to that one. Now the last two here I also have an asterisk next to, because you know we do have that bestowed damage increase on exactly one card in the game, and that is that Perks of Having Charm vision card. So of course only one unit can use that, and generally you're going to want to put that on the unit who is getting the most hits on your team. Now the last one here is going to be that equipment cap increase, and typically in the past we've turned to Trust Stone passives for this, or maybe some select equipment in the game which can get that 1,000 damage increase at a +6 version. But there have actually been some new items that were added into the game recently which can go up to a potential 2,000 damage cap increase, and we'll actually take a look at those here in a moment. So what is that all going to add up to? Well, slash, missile, and pierce, the highest theoretical damage is going to be 30,499 per hit. Strike units, they can add another 10,000 on top of that. And then finally, magic units are going to be leading the charge here, a staggering 45,499 per hit in a best case scenario. So I did talk a moment ago about equipment, and since there actually are some new additions here, I did make a reference for that. The two new items which can bestow that increased 2000 damage are going to be the Wizard Rod, which staff users can equip, and then the Genji Glove, which is an accessory that anyone can wear. The amazing thing about that Genji Glove, though, is that not only does it give you that 2000 damage cap increase, it also has that flat 10% damage increase as well, which is going to help you out in kind of maximizing your damage and making sure you can actually achieve that damage cap. Now, both of these items are from the legendary Werliquez events, so do make sure to grab them if you haven't already. Now, aside from that, I do have the old equipment here. Of course, Lisette's TMR, which kind of came around the last time. Strike units can wear that for an additional 1500 damage cap. And aside from that, everyone else is going to be kind of limited to that additional 1000 damage cap, either from the +6 weapons that you see here or from a Trust Stone passive. Now, speaking of Trust Stones, I have had questions in the past on kind of what are the best ones to use for this mode. I think generally attack and magic sets are probably going to be the best bang for your buck, but certain units actually can really benefit from the crit sets where maybe that unit doesn't have a great innate chance to crit and kind of pick up those crit damage modifiers, and those sets can actually help push them over the edge so they are doing that regularly. Now, to really optimize those trust sets, you're going to want to put things like attack or magic percentage, crit damage or elemental damage modifiers, any specific relevant penetrations for the units, and even that dexterity passive, can help out certain units as is included in some of the damage formulas. Now, as for kind of the main event here with the cheat sheets, I do have them all here with all the relevant updates that I could find. For folks out there, who have finished Roy Mustang or Addison Ray, I think that those two are going to be quite good for this guild grade. They're kind of some of the newer ones, simply because of that field effect that we talked about in that increased magic damage. Of course, there are some others out there, Sephiroth, Bradley, both are going to be great guild grade units as well. Now, I have sort of included those boss cheat sheets that I did start last time. I think these are pretty straightforward. I don't think that there's any real need to kind of go over them in fine detail here today. It just kind of shows you what the weaknesses are, what the agility is, so you can kind of form and tune your strategy around those things. Now, just remember here that, this one here where it says slow, yes or no. If it says yes, of course, you can slow them. If it says no, they're going to be weak to that agility or CT down effects. So there it is, guys. That is going to do it for my video here today. As always, I'm going to have links to those cheat sheets in a PDF or PNG versions in the description below. Share them with your friends or with your discords. I hope they're going to be helpful for you guys out there in the community. And if they were, definitely pop a like or comment down below and let me know. Or if maybe you just have an idea of how I can improve these for a future version, definitely let me know about that too. And that's really all that I have to say for today. So as always, stay safe out there, and I'll see you guys in the next one.